So this is where I think some really interesting neuroscience comes in. So it turns out the feeling of free will, it's called also authorship. So I freely will to raise my hand. It's not that I suddenly say, hey, my hand just lifted, that's funny. No, it was me. Christof Koch that decided to lift it. There's a specific neural circuit in the head that gives rise to this feeling of authorship or agency. These are different names. It's a conscious feeling like any other feeling, like a feeling of pain or pleasure. Right, over here there's some neurons, when they fire, I see red. Over here neurons that fire, I get a toothache. And over there are neurons that fire, and I have this feeling of authorship. And we know this partly because surgical experiment where the neurosurgeon had to go in and stimulate part of the brain as part of a brain operation. And then people get these feelings. They say, oh, I wanted to twist my tongue without actually twisting their tongue. Or I get this urge to move my hand without actually moving their hand. And so it turns out that the brain generates these feelings. They are as real as all the other feelings that we have, that I'm the author.
If our feeling of authorship is just a froth that arrives after our brain has made the actual decision, then how can we possibly have free will?
The problem of free will is who or what made me raise my right hand? Was it completely determined by the physics of the brain? It's just a natural consequence of the brain state, and we're just fated to act out things that were determined all the way by the prime cause way back at the beginning of the universe.
And everything was set by the initial conditions of the universe plus the laws of physics.
Exactly. There's no additional wiggle room left for me. We've hit sort of the bedrock of determinism. This fills me with abhorrence, the idea that the fact that we're sitting here today at this table having this discussion was already inherent in the initial, in the Big Bang, 13 billion years ago. That fills me with...
And every word you're saying, every idea
was
that you
predetermined.
have.
I find this very horrible, just personally. However, we find ourselves in a universe with quantum mechanics rules, and we know that quantum mechanics is a fundamental indeterministic theory, and that we can give probabilities. And so we know that we don't live in that deterministic universe. That means nobody and nothing could have predicted our discussion today.
But that's sort of a randomness, and that doesn't put me, whatever the me is, in control. I don't have free will if I randomly do this.
That's correct.
And you're happy with that step?
No, but I'm much more happy with that step, yes, than living in a universe where everything is predetermined.
Okay, but you still don't have free will under this.
If you just believe in standard physics, I don't think you can uphold a conventional libertarian view of free will, because I don't see where the additional traction is supposed to come from.
Okay.
I don't think that's true. You can feel free, like I feel free. I know I'm not fully predetermined from the initial conditions because all these other things intervene, but it's not this free will that I grew up with.